Hey, you guys, and welcome to today's live chat. I actually woke up with another topic in mind, but I was definitely intercepted by spirit. And, when that happens, and it does happen, sometimes I may have a complete agenda like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to upload this, I'm going to do a live chat for that. And then, God says, no, you're going to talk about this. And I'm going to flood your mind with so many thoughts and information that is going to be obvious to you, where I'm guiding you. So I am a vessel, as we all are. And when that happens, I'm happy to do so. It just means that someone needs to hear this message, and I'll be used to deliver it, happily so. So, this channel is great for anyone that wants to increase their emotional maturity or want to tighten up. Even if you feel like you're great in this area, hey, you might learn even more. I'm just, I love psychology, period. So I'm always studying topics. And this particular subject, I'm pretty tight in this in my life. I'm pretty good about this. I wasn't always, but, I did that self work. So if you do feel like you're not, where you want to be in this area, don't worry about it. You can always, do the work or, learn what you can and apply it on your journey. This is what I say in every video. But with all of that being said, you guys, let's just go ahead and hop in here. The live chat box is open and I will see your comments as I'm, going down this information. If you have any questions, let me know. I'd rather it pretty much stay to the topic, but if you have something, some emergency in your life and you want to get that help, perhaps, and it's off topic, go ahead and leave the question. All right. All right. So let's talk about this, being a slave to your emotions and thoughts. And I went ahead and grouped this together because it is interchangeable, you guys. I feel like the stuff that I'm going to talk about in this video can apply to either or both situations. And honestly, they run off of each other anyway. So, chances are if you're struggling with being a slave to your emotions, you're a slave to your thoughts and vice versa. So, rather than breaking up these topics, I'm just keeping them together for that reason. So who in here is being held, feel like they're being held captive here? All right. Well, let's break these chains and get into, some things that you can do to help you in these areas. So the first thing that I want to talk about, you guys, is it's okay to feel and it's okay to have thoughts. I mean, if you're a living being, this is going to happen. But one of the reasons why we're being held captive sometimes is we don't validate them. So I've said this in other videos, when we repress our feelings, and you may or may not be doing this, and I'm going to go down a whole lot of things, and it may or may not apply to your situation, and some may. So just, as I'm going down, if you're not doing this, good for you. But if you are, here's some help with that. But continue to listen, because if you're struggling, some of these are going to hit home for you for sure. Okay. If not all of them. All right. But yeah, validating your emotions, it's okay to do it. And by validating them, it doesn't mean that it's a fact. It just means that I'm allowing myself to feel this. Because if you do repress your emotions and thoughts, they're just going to come back to you, And I kind of compared this in other videos to, let's say we, have a pool in our backyard and we took this beach ball and we pushed it to the bottom of the pool. Is it possible to do that? Absolutely. But how long can we realistically hold that beach ball at the bottom of the pool? How much pressure is going to build up underneath you? And what's going to happen when you let go of that ball? It's going to fly to the top of the water and burst. Did it have to do all of that? Did you have to push the beach ball all the way down to the bottom? You don't have to do these things. These are choices, you guys. So a lot of times by just validating and acknowledging these feelings early on, it'll at least allow you the opportunity to address it before it grows a lot more toxic momentum, if you will. And basically, there's a lot of energy, more energy being put behind them. Because emotions and thoughts aren't bad things, they just are. Sometimes we make them bad. And when we're doing that, we're not able to do this next thing, which is utilize them properly. Emotions and thoughts, they can be alerts to us. So they need us, they require us to be attentive. They could be trying to alert us to a red flag. But if we're not utilizing them, we're not going to be allowing ourselves a chance to make that adjustment or, to adjust as need be. So I'm going to intercept myself right now and just say, I am talking to survivors, but, narcissists do have these problems as well. But survivors have them as well. It's just, it can play out a little bit different on each end of the spectrum. Okay. So yes, narcissists definitely do this, but they're not looking to get the help. That's why I'm talking to the survivors who have a chance of actually, healing in this area. The next thing is, emotions can be there to be enjoyed. They can. And sometimes some of us are in such a negative energy that we have so many things, so many blessings around us. Maybe this one area, things aren't going where you need them to go, but maybe because of your perceptions and things that we're going to talk about down the line in this live chat, you're having that tunnel vision and you're focused on this one thing and you have all these other things in your life that are going right. So it's almost blocking yourself from being able to enjoy the blessings in your life as well. Because, thoughts and emotions can be enjoyed as well. All right. But a lot of times we'll mope and we'll allow that the more unsavory feeling or emotion to grow in our life and overcome or, pour into other areas in our life as well. So, not being able to know how to savor the sweet times or, here you are on a day that you're celebrating something or, you're being blessed with something, but yet you're being a slave to your emotions because you're just still stuck on something else in your past or something else that didn't work out, a closed door. Okay. And we're going to talk about our perceptions and stuff pretty soon, but we'll get into that in a moment. All right. And then, not knowing how to dominate our emotions and thoughts, because honestly, you really do get to decide, how you're going to feel about something. You get to decide that. Feelings are conscious for those of you who don't know. And I'm not going to get too far into this right here. I feel like it deserves to have its own videos where actually we'll break down feelings versus emotions because they are two different things. A lot of people make it into one because they are connected, but they are, in psychology, they are two different things. So I'm going to give that its own live chat or video or however, I choose to do that, you guys. But you can actually dominate over your emotions and thoughts and feelings. You can, even though that might sound really foreign to someone who feels like they are enslaved to them. Like, what? They're dominating over you right now. But hopefully by the end of this live chat, you're going to get some tools that are going to help you with that. But you do get to decide, you guys, even if you're learning the art of compartmentalizing. And this is how, I can't focus at work. My emotions and my feelings are driving me. My thoughts, I can't even focus at work. Knowing that there's a time and a place. Okay, well, I have therapy on twice a week, or, this is the part of my day when I'm going to meditate on this. And then after that, I acknowledge it, but I'm going to put it on pause. Or I'm going to lay it right here until I say it's time to come back to it. You can actually become that person that's able to do that instead of just letting, these thoughts and emotions and feelings just run amok in your head. So my next thing here, you guys, is I would welcome you to keep track of these things. Just take the point of view where you're the doctor, and let's say your emotions and your thoughts are the patient. Start having that type of relationship with it. And just like a doctor would, take note of it. Start journaling. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling? When did I start feeling this way? You know, my whole thing with this is just increasing your self-awareness. And just like a doctor would, you're going to be supervising and monitoring and keeping track. And this is actually going to give you a good measuring stick as you proceed with this process over time. You'll start seeing things start to do perhaps a 180 in your life, where you were always consumed with this and that, and you're finding it's having less and less control and power in your life. And sidebar, journaling, or writing things down, can be extremely therapeutic as well. And this is coming from someone who's written 4 books. As a matter of fact, I want to say 3 out of 4 of those books were extremely pivotal in my healing process. It was like a weight being lifted off of me. And hi, Judy and Tarsha. I do see your comments. Welcome to the live chat. Tarsha and Judy Davis said he was generous and said he had my back. I am 64. He is 70. I was surprised that he lied or didn't keep his word, perhaps, Judy. Or surprised that, he did do it, But yes, journaling, you guys, is a great way to keep track. So take that type of doctor-patient thing with your emotions and thoughts. Because you're not your emotions. You're not anger. You can feel anger, but you're not anger. You can be controlled by it, but you're not anger. And I have a whole series on anger. If any of you are struggling with that, because, yes, narcissists, they have a lot of anger inside of them, but survivors can end up feeling angry as well, because it is a part of the grieving process when you finally let go of that toxic relationship. And you do have a right to feel angry. It's just how you channel it. It's just how you use it. It's how you allow it to affect your life. There's nothing wrong with feeling angry. It's a good signal of you knowing that, hey, that was wrong. That was an injustice, And that's why I was saying in the very beginning here that, use them and validate them. Okay. But yes, journaling is just going to give you that self-awareness. And sometimes we don't. Some of the reasons why we're run off of our emotions is we don't have enough self-awareness of ourselves just yet. And that's something that we need to, take stock of and see within ourselves. And there's going to be reasons for that too, why we may not have that self-awareness. And we'll talk about that as we go down the list, you guys. The next thing that I want to encourage you to do is to definitely take responsibility and ownership over your feelings and your emotions and those thoughts. You can take ownership. Now, let me just intercept here to explain what I mean by this, because a lot of times you might hear, even the narcissist might say this, but you know what? Survivors will say this too. And when they're describing things, they made me feel this way. Or I wouldn't feel this way if they would treat me better. Okay. So this is what I'll tell you in my emotional maturity, and I'm going to rephrase these in a healthy way. I allowed their behaviors to make me feel that way. I gave them the power and control over my emotions and feelings. See, when you take the responsibility and ownership of it, it strips it from the toxic person, you guys. Because here's the thing, and this is very deep. Your self-confidence, it gets eroded when other people become the sole meanings for managing your emotions. Your self-confidence gets eroded at that point. Do you guys understand that? And if your self-confidence is getting eroded, things like self-soothing is going to be either underdeveloped or not developed at all. And when we can't self-soothe ourselves, we have to look for an outside source until we learn. That's why babies, they cry until what? Until somebody comes to soothe them. Then perhaps, as the baby grows and gets older, the baby may realize, oh, I might not need mommy to pick me up. I can decide to do this or that for myself, and they'll start to learn proper ways, to self-soothe, unless they get stunted by a poor caretaker or a toxic home environment that don't allow for that to happen. But we have to take the responsibility, and then it completely strips it from toxic people or even non-toxic people. It empowers you. At the end of the day, it's about empowering you. Okay. And, the other thing I'm going to point out about this taking responsibility and ownership is exhausting to just be basically reactive versus responsive, because this is what you are when you're not taking the responsibility and ownership. Now you're like a leaf floating in the breeze. Like everything that people do to you is just bumping your emotions and your feelings all over the place and your thoughts. And that's exhausting. Like you're being controlled by your whole external environment is basically controlling you at that point. And that's a lot for a person to do every day of their life. So, you want to start getting a handle over this, and you want to start to basically regulate yourself, and basically that's taking control, and it's learning how to maintain and manage your emotions, your thoughts, and your feelings. And of course, that's going to help bring that balance into your life. Now, part of doing this is learning how to shift your mentality and perceptions. And I talk so much on this channel about shifting mentalities and perceptions. What types of questions will help you begin to do this? Well, when you feel something, you're thinking something, you can ask yourself, is this a fact? Is this actually rooted in reality? Or am I making it a fact? Am I making this my reality? Is this stemming from some type of fear or codependency or my shadow side? See, we have choices on how we're going to perceive any given situation, you guys. And sometimes a beautiful shift in mentality, a new perspective, or sometimes you might say, you know what? I never looked at it that way. I never even thought of it in this way. So, yeah. So what I'll also say here is making something your reality doesn't make it true. And I know that people do this in their waking life all the time. And narcissists and toxic people, they'll make something their reality. And it's not the truth, but they'll make it that. But does it serve them well really in life? It really doesn't. It doesn't. If it shallowly seems like it's getting their shallow needs met, but it never gets their real needs met. And this is why they're on this continuous spinning wheel like a hamster. Okay. So, be mindful of that. Yeah, you can go ahead and make something your reality, but if it's still a lie, it's not going to serve you. It's not going to serve you in a positive light. Okay. So how can we fact check ourselves? Okay. If we void of feelings, can I verify this? That's how you can do something like that. Void of how I feel right now. If I take my feelings out of this, what are the facts? A question like that will help you fact check yourself. Now, once we shift the mentality and the perceptions, we'll also, chances are, need to shift the weight and the value of ... Meaning, all right, okay, here's the truth of the situation, or here is the reality of it. Now, how much weight am I giving this? How much value am I putting on that? Okay, the narcissist never loved me. The narcissist never loved me. The narcissist doesn't love anyone, including themselves. Now, some people put a lot of value and weight on that. to the point where it's stripping them of further stripping them of their self-worth and their self-value. You see what I'm saying? The weight that we put on things. And then in those situations, it's not even personal to you. Like, okay, well, they don't love you, but they don't love anyone else. Hell, they don't even love themselves. So, we have to make sure we're putting the proper weight on things once we have stripped it down to the facts and reality. And then it could be situations like, is this really life or death? Or am I magnifying it or drawing things out to be so? This is an area where we can include stuff like needs versus wants. I wanted that to work out, but did I need it to work out? This is a category where we can think about the ego versus the spirit as well, you guys. Am I putting the weight and value on this out of my ego, out of my own arrogance? And yes, toxic people, everyone has some type of ego, but it's having a balance with that ego that makes you a person that can be more classy and refined, or someone that's grandiose, So yeah, you have to know what's the ego and the spirit. And then some of us are really out of touch with our spiritual aspects of ourselves. And that comes back to bite us in the butt in that category there. And we need to reconnect with that because we've been too three-dimensional. Okay? So as far as that category, I'm going to leave you with this thought, and then we'll move on to the next thing. You will always feel out of control until you develop some confidence in your own ability to manage yourself, your emotions and feelings. Okay, you're always going to feel out of control because you are out of control. Your external environment has the control at that point. All right, so the next thing that I have on here is to definitely start to create a new mantra. And some of you are like, I don't even have an old one. Well, whether you knew it or not, some of the negative thoughts that you may be replaying in your mind over and over and over are your mantras. Okay. Now, I went on this website and I'm going to share. Let me go on here. I have 3 screens in front of me. I went on this website and I found it had like 35 mantras from, some people in the world here. And I wrote down some of the numbers that I wanted to share with you guys. And these are just some positive thoughts here. And that's what I want your mantra to be. Obviously, it's some positive thoughts. So here we're just minding, what are you telling yourself? What types of things are you telling yourself? Not, what are other people telling you? Because sometimes, we will adopt those things. Well, they told me this. I started telling myself that too. And it's things that are self-defeating, putting you down, setting limitations and negative boundaries that are keeping you under, and that's what you want to break yourself out of doing. All right. So I'm going to share with you some of these positive mantras from this website here. I'll take a moment to do that. And here's the thing that I want you to understand about these mantras. When you're doing these negative ones, you're compounding the negative feelings. The more that you keep saying this, and you're planting that in your brain. So now it's time to plant new seeds if you haven't, and start watering them by saying them all the time to yourself. So let's just look at them, and you can create your own. You don't have to use these, of course, but these are just positive things that some people say to themselves that, I found some wisdom in them. So someone named, okay, now I might not get all of these names right. Ronald, Dahl, Dahl. Okay. He says, if you have good thoughts, they will shine out of your face like sunbeams, and you will always look lovely. Okay. So you can imagine, what the opposite of that would look like. Michelle Obama says, am I good enough? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And I know a lot of survivors have struggled with feeling good enough because of a lot of, elements or issues with rejection. Okay. And, the wrong perceptions. If you get rejected by a toxic person, that's fine. You should be rejecting them. Rejection a lot of times, and that's why I said with perceptions, we can put it in a category. Our rejection, if it's a rejection, it's something negative. No, some things you need to be rejected from, and some things you should be doing the rejection anyway. All right. Let's see. Number 4, Oprah Winfrey. And, I'm doing these quotes and I'm not co-signing all these people, but I like these quotes. All right. So I'll just say that. Oprah Winfrey said, good riddance to decisions that don't support self-care, self-value, and self-worth. Good riddance. Right. Because you can choose what you're going to put your energy on, right? Mindy Kaling says, I'm giving you permission to root for yourself. And while you're at it, root for those around you too. So a lot of times, especially the empaths, we're so busy rooting for others and we're not putting enough into ourselves. It's not an either or. Okay. When you're balanced, you have time for yourself and time for others. J.K. Rowling says, we do not need magic to transform our world. We carry all the power we need inside ourselves already. Okay? And, you have it within you to be the change that you want to see. Number 7, I like this. Muhammad Ali said, I am the greatest. I said that even before I knew it. So I think that was a great one. Even if you're not feeling in that space, just start saying it to yourself. You might, it feels a little fake. It feels a little phony. It feels a little weird, but it's okay. Go ahead and say it. Because a lot of times we're so broken and shattered, we don't see our beauty, even though it's there. So it's okay. You're not really lying to yourself, but you're just saying it until you actually can see it yourself, if you will. Yeah. And Prima Prem said, the worst lies were the lies I told myself about the lies others told me. Absolutely. Absolutely. And let me see. There were so many on here, you guys. I'll just do a couple more and then we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, I'm not going to use that one. Okay. And this is good because we just had Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King said, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. And that just means, sometimes we're going to face disappointment, but there's always some hope there. If we choose to take it, we have to choose to take it. Audre Lorde says, I am deliberate and afraid of nothing. Fear is that energy of fear. It keeps a lot of people bound. A lot of people bound. Now, this is the last one, and I absolutely love this. Your perspective is unique, it's important, and it counts. Okay, so you could say, my perspective is unique, it's important, and it counts. And that's a mantra that you could say to yourself in first person. All right. So, create some new positive mantras. And it could be so simple as I'm beautiful. It doesn't have to be this, the ultimate meme or anything. Just even the simple things that sometimes we need to be telling ourselves that we never have or we stop doing. Okay. All right. So the next thing that I want to say is we have to really let go of being judgmental of ourselves here. And it's okay to use judgment without being judgmental. And in a channel like this that increases emotional maturity, you really need to know the difference between using your judgment and being judgmental. See, judgment allows for the thought to happen to be judged. Judgmental is just shooting things down, and this would look like shame and guilt, feeling weak for thinking or feeling something, feeling dumb for feeling something or thinking something. So be an open, safe space for yourself. I mean, we want to have this with other people, and sometimes we're not giving that to ourselves. You want to be a safe space with them, but are you even a safe space to yourself? Have you learned to be a friend, not let alone a best friend to yourself, but just be a friend to yourself? It's okay to have a feeling. It's okay to have a thought. Okay? You don't have to shame or guilt yourself. Oh, I felt that way. And then we can go back to those questions. Why did I feel that way? When did that happen? What was centered around it? Just examine it. And then you can make a judgment off of it without being judgmental, aka criticizing yourself. But it's easy a lot of times to get into that energy when we've probably surrounded ourselves with people who did just that to us, and then we're doing it to ourselves. All right. So with that, I'll just say again, emotions and thoughts and stuff, they aren't good or bad. They just are. It's what you do with them. You have to take that type of perspective. All right. Even if it's something crazy, like, oh my God, I thought I wanted to blow up this whole building. Like, okay, why did you have that thought? What's really going on behind the scene there? It could even be something that seems, really out of this world. Because people, you don't have to act on your thoughts, of course, because you have them, but what's behind them, And then understanding, especially when it comes to thoughts, all of them aren't your thoughts per se. They may be running through your mind, but they're not all your thoughts. You don't have to claim it and make it your thought and your reality. You could have things running through your mind that, as Cream and Prem said, other people were saying to her, like they planted those seeds. Oh no, we're pulling those weeds out of our head. No, we're going to intercept it. I'm going to correct that thought. It's okay to correct the thought. The toxic thought that they put in your mind, intercept it and replace it with a positive thought. Okay. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about with you guys is, the issue of believing your thoughts unconditionally. And that's what I was just kind of talking about. A lot of times we believe our thoughts unconditionally. Oh, I thought it. It's true. I feel it. It's real. No, not necessarily. You're being triggered, chances are. This is what the narcissist is doing in the love bomb phase. They're triggering you, and it's making you feel on cloud 9, but it's based off of this sand. You see what I'm saying? So believing your thoughts unconditionally. We're going to have to be careful with that, you guys. And this is going to happen with a person that has no filter, that's not giving a lot of consideration. Hold on a minute. I'm just going to sip some water. But yeah, if you have no filter and you're not taking the appropriate considerations of your thoughts, and it's you're automatically basically making them valid, meaning making them right and true. And this is someone that may have like a knee-jerk, I feel and then I act. I feel this, then I just do that. There's no type of process in between, which is the next thing. You're going to have to create a new way to filter yourself, a new way of processing your feelings. And that's why, I'm a person personally, and I'm not perfect with this. No one's going to be perfect with this because we're all humans. Okay. But most of the times I will sit on my emotions. Like when I sit on it, meaning I'm going to ponder it for a moment. It's not going to be a knee-jerk thing that I'm going to quickly be reactive to. And that's why they say a lot of times, don't make decisions while angry. because you might find that when you actually simmer down or calm down, you can regret what you've done, or maybe you would have chose another route, or you didn't really choose the best option because you didn't really give yourself a chance to do it because anger chose it for you. You see what I'm saying? And you aren't angry. You're not the anger, although you can feel it. So you let those emotions just make the decision for you instead of saying, okay, well, I feel this way, and now I'm going to take my logic and really marinate on this for a moment. Okay. So, that new process might be to sit on it for a second, especially if you've been a knee-jerk person. You have to sit on it for a second at least, and just thinking before you speak. I'm just looking at the comments. And two officially says that the narcissist tries to trap you into their own narrative, right? They really do. And Prima Prem says, never allow the narc to take the love from your essence. Right. But that's, with them being those energy vampires, they usually start to tap into that at some point. And that's why, when the relationship is over, there's so much, you have to really, really revitalize yourself at that point. All right. So the next thing that I want to talk about, you guys, is understanding how the body plays into this as well. Your body matters too, not just, your brain inside of your head, but your body. So, how you're feeling can often be a reflection of how you're treating your body. I just need to make that correlation, of course. Now we're just talking about the basics here of diet, exercise, and sleep. But if you're eating garbage, right? If you're not exercising as you should, maybe you may even be sleep deprived, because these thoughts are just giving you this insomnia and throwing you off your schedule. So all of these things are going to start affecting, your feelings. You're going to feel like crap. So you have to become a student to your overall wellness. Okay. Yes, study narcissistic abuse and get your healing with that, but become a student in your overall wellness, you guys. Find out your sweet spot. You know what? I operate best when I get this amount of sleep per night. I operate best when I'm going on my nature walks and I'm getting fresh air. I operate best, when I'm eating more fruits and vegetables and, laying off the junk food and, and with this is finding the healthier substitutions, and it's learning moderation. It doesn't mean that you can't have a piece of cake, but just learning moderation. All right. And understanding the connection. Like when we exercise, we're actually releasing those feel good hormones. It gives ourselves a chance to do that, you guys. All right. Let me see here. And hello, Boom Hod. All right. So, all right, you guys, I pretty much hit my points that I wanted to make in this video about not being a slave to your emotions and thoughts. I'm going to open the floor here to, any questions that you want to have on this topic, or, any questions you have in emotional maturity, that's fine too. But I definitely welcome the ones on the topic. Boomhod said, long time no see. Well, I have quite a lot of content. Make sure you guys have hit the bell. Over the last couple of weeks, I've uploaded quite a bit. So if you haven't been on the channel in a while, there's a lot of content for you. All right, so I'll give this a moment here. But it's so empowering. I was that person that needed to consult in people all the time and How do they feel about these things and decisions that you have to live with in your life? Like, they're not going to have to live with these decisions. You are. So you need to be living for you, but you need to be able to hear your voice and not the toxic person's voice. You need to be able to decipher that. And a lot of times it's very, it's very confusing initially for the survivor, because they've been running so hard off of what, all the external sources are saying, i.e. like the narcissist. So, all right, you guys. So I don't really see any questions on this topic. For anyone that came in on the back end, YouTube is going to upload this, but you can always hop back in at any point. Even at this point, I believe you can do that. With that being said, make sure you guys hit a like to show support for the channel. Share this content, share my videos. Feel free to leave comments. And these things help the channel grow, you guys. And I am trying to grow the channel. So anything you can do to help, I definitely thank you for that. And you'll be blessed for it. All right. Boom Hod said, I remember I shared with you about my anxiety and stuff like that. I was telling you about my past relationship I was going through at the time. Okay. Did we do a session together? Oh, yeah. I do have the 2 support groups here while I'm just like letting the thread phase out here. Public and private on Facebook. If you're interested in that, you can pretty much go under any of my videos and you'll see the links to join those. I do still offer private coaching, you guys, for those that want to do one-on-one with me. And, we'll figure that out when you contact me, but you can schedule on my website as well. All right. With that being said, you guys, thank you for tuning in. I enjoy these contents and there'll be more to come. There's over 700 videos here on this channel to help you in any area that you may need to be looking into. All right. With that being said, never give up on yourself. Continue to do the work. And until next time, you guys, please take care.